kind of given a brief overview. I can let Dana Fetcher take you through some of the details of what's going on so that you get a sense of what this is all about here. And he's going to be taking you through a short presentation here on the monitor and telling you a little bit more about the data that's being collected. So with that, Dana?
Thanks, Tim. Again, my name's Dana Fetcher. Welcome. And we're here really to open up our OnStar EV, or Electric Vehicle Lab, and in particular focus that our current activities around the EV lab around GM's Chevy Volt. As Tim mentioned, OnStar has been collecting data in a pre-production fashion for a number of years now, well over 5 years, and using that data to help General Motors engineers refine their vehicles prior to launch, find potential warranty concerns, and address them prior to launch. What's different about today, though, is that we've engaged with GM's Chevy Volt team much earlier. This vehicle on my left is one of the first 80 or so Volts that have ever hit the road. This Volt came out of pre-production operations only last week and has about 8 miles on it. And even as it comes out, it has OnStar's pre-production but production intent hardware built into it. And on approximately 1 out of every 4 of these vehicles that's come off the line, OnStar's taken that hardware and started using it to collect data for GM's Volt engineering team. The board behind me is a dashboard of sorts, or a window into that data collection activity. You can see, of course, that there's about 19 vehicles out of the roughly 80 Volts that are on the road that are enrolled in our data collection effort. We've been at this effort only 59 days, so we're just getting started. We'll be working with that Volt team all the way through late next year when they launch. Of that subset, of about 25% of those vehicles, we have watched those Volts drive almost 45,000 miles, and we've helped the GM team collect data during those drives. Within the vehicle architecture, there are about 20 different electronic modules or computer modules that we pull data from. We've reached out to these vehicles almost 700 times in individual data pulling sessions. And in those individual sessions, we've collected almost 80,000 individual pieces of data. Now, what's a piece of data? Well, for us, a good amount of that data is performance characteristics of those modules that are in the car. It's diagnostics information that the engineers can use to understand how the module is behaving in the field under real-world driving conditions. It's software version control. So OnStar has the capability, with the power of its connection, and with the 5.5 million customer base and the 230 million interactive transactions we've done with customers, to take that same connection and apply it here. We can pull a full manifest from the vehicle. We can know the software versions of those modules, the calibration levels of those modules, and put that total picture together in a live fashion for the GM engineering team. And that's what this graph shows. Going to a vehicle-by-vehicle basis, we can actually pull up and start looking at individual vehicles. So on a particular vehicle, we can pull not just the diagnostics and software information, calibration information, but we can pull information about key subsystems. Tim mentioned that this vehicle is very unique in the fact it's got a different drivetrain. It's an extended range electric vehicle. It's got a very complex battery subsystem that'll be the first to market, I think, and really quite an achievement for General Motors. We reach into that subsystem and others like it, and we pull key diagnostic information, state of charge, and a variety of different pieces of data from all of the different modules in the vehicle to help the GM engineers determine problems more quickly and resolve them more quickly so they can hit that launch with the quality they expect.
What's the VICM?
The VICM, it's a vehicle control module. It has a number of responsibilities in the vehicle, but for the most part, it's our gateway to, for example, the battery subsystem of the vehicle. ECM would be the engine control module, and VCM would be something that would help you with your windows, the body control module, different systems around the vehicle. Those are 3 only, due to maybe space constraints, of the 20 modules we're pulling data on. We take all that data, it's quite a large report, and we summarize it in a database and send it out to the GM team every night. So we've done that about 59 times so far, and we'll continue to do that through launch. I wouldn't be surprised, just from my own kind of experience, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit almost 1 million data points that we pull by the time the Volt will launch on behalf of GM's Volt team.
Presumably you're monitoring the batteries too, how big a load you're running, what's the maximum load you can run on the machine, for example?
With every new release of software in the VICM, for example, the VICM and other modules, we get access to more and more data. Today we are pulling a subset of data on that battery subsystem. By the end of the year, we'll be pulling even more data around that battery subsystem. And that's the real world data, I think, that is really powerful from OnStar's perspective. Is vehicles like this haven't been on the road long. Rich data on how those batteries perform is not readily available. And the ability to have that data live and not wait for a trip back from Pikes Peak or a trip back from somewhere else in Colorado to start to analyze it is a very powerful concept.